Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
Brethren, today we are dealing with what I call breaking the circle of setbacks. That is, setback that is programmed. The person will keep moving, get to that point, suffer that defeat, suffer that setback, and start all over again. And keep going around again, get to that point again, suffer that setback, and start all over again. And it becomes a circle of setback. And if you don't break such circle, if you don't destroy such circle, one can spend the rest life there, going around that same point, not making any meaningful progress. A setback is defined as a reversal in progress, or a check in progress, which means if the person thinks he's moving forward, is making progress, he gets to that point, he suffers that setback, he starts all over again. The way the Lord describes it is, for example, discouragement. He says discouragement is like when you are climbing a ladder, when you're almost getting to the top of the ladder where you are going, and that discouragement sets in, the whole steps of the ladder will collapse and the person is back on the ground again. And then you now pick yourself up and you now encourage yourself, start climbing again. If you get to that stage again, the discouragement sets in, the person is back again on the ground, start climbing again. That's a circle. That's a circle of setback. And if you don't break that circle, brethren, it could drag life backward. It could drag destiny backward. So it's a pull, a drag on progress. It makes somebody to return back to where he has started before. Makes somebody to go back to the beginning again and start all over again. Look at the Bible in Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12 in verse 1. It says, wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight. It talks about weight. That is load. And you know, in life, brethren, it's easy to pick up loads. Very easy to pick up all kinds of loads along the way. As you begin to make progress in life, as you begin to grow, number one, before you know, you have accumulated so much things. As you accumulate physical things, that's how you accumulate spiritual things. Some of them you don't need. I'm sure now if they go to our houses and they say, bring out all the properties in your house, more than half of them, you don't need them again. But you know you are still carrying them up and down. If you move home, you still carry those loads, and you don't need them anymore. Those are loads. Those are weights. There are also people in our lives that are load, excess luggages. There are human beings in our lives that are excess luggage that we don't need, and we are still carrying them up and down. So the Bible talking about weight. And now going for that, it say, and sin. He say, number one is weight. Number two is sin. And he said what they do. He say, which doth so easily beset us. What does that mean? He said this weight, if you like, you can use that beset and say setback. You can use that beset and say trip us. They trip us and make us to fall, and we stand up again. When we get to that point and the load, the weight is upon us, and the sin sets in, it will trip us, we fall into it, and then we start up again. He said, take note of such sin. Take note of such weight that doth easily. You know, when we talk about the enemies, they are not really powerful, but they are crafty. They are clever. They know how to work out their mathematics. They will go to the foundation and look for the weak point of somebody. And they will tell the person, look at their weak point. Use this weak point and you will get them. And they will now set the trap of that weak point. It could be a sin. And that sin will become the besetting sin. It will become the setback. The person will be doing very well. We'll be making progress spiritually and physically, everything. And then they will now trigger that thing. And the person will fall. And everything will be destroyed. And the person will start all over again. It's making progress. Get it to a particular stage again. They will trigger that thing again. Everything will collapse. If you don't deal with it, brethren, it becomes a circle of setback. It becomes a circle of setback. Sometimes the thing can take years. And you think, well, thank God, I'm stabilized now. I'm making fine progress now for years, now 5 years, 10 years. Nothing has happened. Things are smoothing. I'm happy the way things are going. And then they will just trigger it. And then the 10 years effort will be wasted. And the person will start all over again. He said that we should be careful of weight and sin. And let us run with patience the race that he said before. Look at verse 2. He said, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him, he carefully navigated all the landmines that could beset him. Now look at Deuteronomy chapter 2. Deuteronomy chapter 2. Look at verse 1. We are talking about circle of setbacks. Deuteronomy chapter 2 verse 1. Then we turned and took our journey. Moses was like giving them the summary of the journey they've spent 40 years in dealing with. And when you look at the journey of the children of Israel in the wilderness, it's exactly the journey of Christianity today. It's our own journey of Christianity today. Their own lasted 40 years. Look at how Moses summed it up. He said, we took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spake unto me. It was the Lord that commanded them, just like the Lord is commanding us also today. And we compassed Mount Seir many days. This many days means many years. He said they were just going around Mount Seir. They were just going around Mount Seir for many years. Verse 2. And the Lord spake unto me, saying, look at what God told him. Verse 3. You have been going around, you have compassed this. He said, you have been going around this mountain long enough. Now, brethren, tell me, why is it? Does it mean they did not understand? At least when you pass where you have passed before, you should be able to say, we've been here before now. We followed this road last time. We were here before. Look at where we put our tent. And they kept going around that circle. Going around that circle. One position place for years. Until God had to say, you have been going around this mountain for too long. He said, long enough. Turn you northward. And you know, if God did not do this, they could have continued there. This is what we call setback. Going around the same circle in life. Going around the same circle. And you yourself will know, I'm going around this same circle. How do I come out of this circle? Except God steps in. Except God steps in. So look at what happened in verse 4. And command out the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Israel, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourself, therefore. Verse 7. For the Lord thy God has blessed thee in all the works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness, these 40 years. The Lord thy God has been with thee, and thou lacked nothing. They were going around the same circle, going around the wilderness, going around everything. The Lord was supporting them, yes. The Lord was providing for them, yes. The Lord was prospering them, but they were not making progress. They had a target when they left Egypt. They had a destination when they left Egypt. The destination, in fact, the Bible says it was supposed to be 11 days journey. 11 days journey. And it took them 40 years. Because of what? Setbacks. Setback. Going around the same circle. Going around the same circle. But do you know there was something else the Bible told us? The Bible told us that God carried them on eagle's wing. You have heard that before? Look at it in Exodus 19. Exodus 19, verse 3 and 4. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptian, and how I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. So if God is carrying them on eagle's wing, why were they going around the same circle? Why were they compassing the mount for so many years? For so many years. Look at Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32, look at verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in the waste howling wilderness, he led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. Verse 11. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wing, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. So you see now that God was the one carrying them on eagle's wing and bringing them. So then, brethren, how did they get to the point where they are now going around the same circle? We need to understand that point, because it applies to us also. We need to understand that little space, because it applies to us as well. You see, we have the promises of God. God has shown us what he wants to do with us, what he wants to do for us. And the Lord is faithful when he gives his promises. And the Lord has been with us and has been carrying us. But then, how do we come to the point of setbacks? That we are rolling around the same spot. What happened to the eagle's wing? The eagle's wing should have just carried them from Egypt straight to Canaan. So how did they land in the wilderness and we're going around the same circle? Let's continue with that scripture. The Bible says in that verse 12, there was no strange God with him. Verse 13. And because there was no strange God, there was no idol, he made him ride on the high places of the earth. And that he might eat the increase of the field, he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter and kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. Verse 15. But Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God. Are you listening to me? This is where the trouble starts. You remember when God called Moses to come up to the mountain, and before he came back, Aaron had made a calf for them. Aaron had made an idol for them to worship. They've backslidden so quickly. That's where their trouble started from. So the Bible said that they forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. Verse 16. They provoke him to jealousy with strange gods. With abomination provoked they him to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came up newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. Do you see their trouble? Verse 19. And when the Lord saw it, he did what? He abhorred them. He hated them. He left them alone. He abandoned them. Brethren, do you know our strength? Do you know our pride? It's our God, though. Take God away from us. We are nobody. We are nothing. There's nothing left in us. No power in us. We have no power. So that is the reason why we do not joke with our God. Look at what followed. They provoke him. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. Verse 20. And he said, I will hide my face. That's what the Lord did. Because the Lord hid his face, they started roaming around. In one point, they didn't know where to go again. He said, I will hide my face. I will withdraw myself. I will leave them alone. Let them find their way. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. Let me see how they are going to get to the promised land. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. Verse 21, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without, and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I will scatter them into the corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So do you see now? The Lord that should be leading them now has turned to an enemy. Verse 27. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest the adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord has not done all this. He said, the only thing I'm fearing is because the enemy will take the glory. The enemy will say, this is not God doing it, it's because we are stronger than them, we defeated them. He said, if not because of that. Verse 28, for they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understand this, that they will consider their later end. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to fly, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. So, brethren, do you see now what led Israel to start roaming around the same circle? Brethren, whatsoever you do, I've always said this to you, make sure your relationship with God is sound. Whether you have food to eat, you don't have food to eat, you don't have clothes to wear, you don't have accommodation, don't allow it to affect your relationship with God. Because God is still your protection. No? He's still your covering. And your enemies are watching and praying that that relationship will break down. They are desiring it above everything, that they can destroy your relationship with your God, so that they can achieve what they wanted to achieve for long. So you can see where the trouble of Israel started now. They allowed their relationship with Jehovah God that went to Egypt to bring them out. They allowed that relationship to break down. They allowed things to come between them and God. And God said, I will turn my face. I will leave them alone. I will let them be on there. Let them sort themselves out. Let me see how they are going to do it. And they started to roam around. Setback. First of all, they suffered the spiritual setback. And then it translated to everything in their lives. It translated even to their ambition. To their ambition. You remember the place we read in Hebrews earlier, which we said that sin we also are compassed about with a great cloud of witness. Let us lay aside every weight and sin. You see, Israel allowed this sin to come between them and God. And that now became the setback. Now look at when Moses was about to depart. Moses was telling them something. In Deuteronomy chapter 1, Moses was recounting all the experience. And luckily for them, they had a man like Moses that could intercede for them. Look at verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 6. The Lord our God spake to us in Horeb, saying, ye have dwelt long enough in this mountain. He reminded them that thing. He said, you remember when God told us that you have been going around this mountain for too long. Verse 7. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of the Amorites, and unto all the places nigh thereunto in the plain, in the hills, and in the vales, and in the south, and by the seaside, to the land of the Canaanites, and unto Lebanon, unto the great river. Verse 8. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. And I spake. This was God's plan. This was God's instruction. And Moses was saying, this was what God told me. You should go in and possess the land. And he gave them the boundaries. He gave them everything. Go and take the land. Verse 9. And I spake unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. Verse 18. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. He said, I told you what to do. And when we departed from Horeb, we went through all that great and terrible wilderness, which you saw by the way of the mountain of the Amorites, as the Lord our God commanded us. And we came to Kadesh Barnea. Verse 20. And I said unto you, ye are come unto the mountain of the Amorites, which the Lord our God doth give unto us. Behold, the Lord thy God has set the land before thee. Go up and possess it, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath said unto you. Fear not, neither be discouraged. When God told them, move, do this, go and possess, I have given you the land. Look at verse 26. Notwithstanding, they refused to go. They refuse to go. When God is telling them, I've got the promised land, step in, begin to possess it, fight the battle involved, and take the land. They refused. He says, verse 20, you will not go up, but you rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God. Verse 27, and ye murmured in your tents and said, behold, the Lord hated us and has brought us forth out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Do you see their own interpretation? So what were they thinking before? That they will just step in. As soon as they are coming, the Amorites will soon run away. Brethren, promises of God requires warfare. You have to fight to take it. You have to fight literally to take it. And they were not willing to fight. So, look at what followed. They concluded the Amorites would destroy them. Verse 32. Yet, in this thing, ye did not believe the Lord your God. They refused to believe God. Verse 41. Then ye answered and said unto me, we have sinned against the Lord. So, after the Lord was now angry, and the Lord said, okay, if you will not take the land, there's nothing else I can do. So they now say they have sinned. They repented. And they did what? They say, we will go up now and fight according to all that the Lord our God commanded us. And when ye had guided on every man his weapon of war, they now ready to go and fight now. You were ready to go up into the hill. Verse 42. The Lord said unto me, say unto them, don't go anywhere. Don't fight anything. I am not among you. The day God wanted them to fight, they refused to fight. The day God said, don't go, that's the day they wanted to fight. Do you see what causes setbacks? These are the things that cause unnecessary defeats. When God is leading you, when God is telling you something, giving you express messages, telling you the way you should go, what you should do, and then you relax, you say, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it my own way. And the day God is not willing to do, that's the day you want to move. God says something here. He said, tell them, let them know I'm not among them, I'm not going with them. I'm not going with them. I'm not among, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. Verse 43. So I spake unto you, but what happened? You will not hear. They refused to hear. But you rebelled against the commandment of the Lord. And then they went presumptuously up into the hill. They went into the battle without Jehovah God. They thought it was the battle of the hand of man. They went presumptuously into that battle. Verse 44. And the Amorites, which dwelt in that mountain, came out against you and chased you as bees do. The enemy now chased them like bees and destroyed you in Seir, even unto Homer. Verse 45. And you return and wept before the Lord, but the Lord will not do what? You're not listening to them. Do you see the setbacks I'm talking about? Brethren, these are the few things. Inability to hear God's warning and God's instructions. Inability to listen to God's instructions. And as a result of that, because of this nature of defeat, do you think they will have the courage to go back to war again? Initially, they were afraid. Now they have suffered serious defeat. To convince them to go back to war again will be impossible. That's why they were going around the same circle. That's why they were content where they were. They settled down in one place and started rolling around the same circle. Listen carefully to me. I don't know how to describe it to you. Maybe I should begin to pray that God will show you so vividly in the dream the nature of the enemies you are fighting against. There are some enemies you will see. You yourself will not believe it. That this is the kind of thing I'm fighting against. There was this serpent that appeared to me when we started this ministry newly. The serpent, the size, I don't know how to describe the size of that serpent. And the shape is square. It's four corner serpent, four corner shape, square. And the length, there was a mighty tree. It came down from that tree and covered the whole street in length. And more than half of it was still on the tree. And he now came and posed and faced me for fight. Maybe if you see such an enemy, maybe you begin to appreciate some things. Maybe you begin to understand that on your own, you are not a match. You can't fight the battle. That's what Israel didn't understand. They thought it as men of war. Carry your gun, carry your weapon, let's go. When they got there, they saw the reality of the enemies. The enemy chased them like bees and destroyed them. So you can see why they now came back and settled down in one place. Now look at the consequence. Verse 45. And ye returned and wept before the Lord. They started weeping. But the Lord will not hearken to your voice, nor give ear unto you. The Lord refused to listen to them. Now verse 46. See the consequence now. So ye abode in Kadesh many days, is years. So many years. That's why they remain in one place. Setback has happened. They remain in one position, no progress, no moving forward. You now understand why 11 days journey took 40 years. 11 days journey took 40 years. They remain in many days, according to the day that ye abode there. They couldn't go anywhere again. These are the differences. The Bible talk about weight, heavy weight. I don't know what you are carrying. I don't know what you are allowed to weigh you down. But you cannot fight this battle. You cannot run this race with any weight. Whatsoever the weight might be. Maybe animation sin. Maybe occasional sin. Or habitual sin. Or besetting sin. Sin that don't come all the time. Just wait for strategic time and manifest. Sometimes they program such sin into the circle of the moon or circle of the earth, and the moon carries it round. At a particular point at the month, it will manifest. The person will fall into it and cry and repent and everything, but they have achieved what they want to achieve. And then they will go again. Everything will go back to normal. The person will start making progress, enjoying the Lord, serving the Lord happily. And then again, the thing will appear again. That's what we want to fight against here today. That's setback. Let's close our eyes. You are going to close your eyes. And you are going to begin to tell the Lord, you are so sorry. You are genuinely sorry. You are sorry for every sin that you allowed to come between you and God.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app, Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.